Hello everyone, I wanted to give you an update as to where things stand. It's March 1, 2022, and I'm actually in Dallas here with Javed and at his home, and it's such a privilege to be here. And so an update on his treatment and where things stand with him. So again, we're looking at two prongs, okay? So the first prong is how the doctors would like to attack this tumor directly, right? So we did discuss that certain rounds of chemotherapy, were basically ineffective against the tumor. And so the last you heard from me is that they are going ahead with something called immunotherapy, which is essentially where they kind of, trigger the immune system to attack the tumor, right? So you doctors and you medical people out there, you know what I'm saying. Others, please Google it. It's difficult for me to explain all of it. So there was a bit of a delay with insurance and in terms of the provider and where it should be done. But thankfully, he did have his first round of immunotherapy. This coming Friday will be 3 weeks since he had that first round. And as far as we know, he's on schedule to go in again this coming Friday for the second round of immunotherapy at MD Anderson in Houston, right? So that's one prong of the approach. Now, the second prong of the approach in tandem is that, we spoke about the fact that this tumor is so stable that the doctors really think the kind of surefire way to get rid of it is through surgery, right? And so this is really where they would like to go. But we had discussed, that Javed's nutrition is so poor and his health markers are so low that they're not able to go in and perform the surgery, right? And part of the reason, again, why, his nutrition and his health and all of that is so poor, it's because of where the tumor is located. It's very difficult for him to take in food. And then if he does manage to take in, food and even water, he has nausea and he often loses the food, right? So you can imagine his weight is very low. It's hard for him to keep food down. And so what the doctors have recommended and what is now in place is a feeding tube. So Javed is currently fitted with a feeding tube. It's called a G-tube feeding tube. Yeah, I guess there are different types of feeding tubes. And so he got this put in, I want to say last week, but it could already be 2 weeks that he's had this in. And so the hope is that this feeding tube kind of bypasses the tumor. The food is going directly into his body, and so that it's able to get up his strength, okay, maybe not his strength, but there's certain things surgeons look for, before surgery. And we talked about albumin and things like that. And so this is what they're hoping the feeding tube assists with. Right, so two things in process right now, the immunotherapy treatments and then the feeding tube to get his markers up. So, he's very weak. He's actually feeling very poorly, and it's very difficult also for him to speak, just because I guess they put some kind of scope down his throat that, has aggravated it. So it's very difficult for him to speak, but he did say that he would like to come on quickly at the end just to say hello, just so some of y'all can see his face. And so I'm quickly going to go in now so that he's able to greet y'all. And here he is.
Hey everybody, just want to say thank you for all the prayer and the support. Just wanted to say hello to everybody.
Okay, so thank you. And as things move on, we will keep you posted. Thank you so much for your love and your support and your prayers for Javed.